hustle every day to find picks. You can tell us if you wanna get rich. It's population. We robbing underdog and prize picks. We the best in this biz. You ain't telling us shit. It's population. We love making money quick, fast. Cooking up a team card. The whole crew about to smash. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's cash. The dopest team you ever seen. Winning money, stacking G's. Boogie setting traps, but they'll never catch me. Some people get addicted like rats to the cheese, but I got one obligation to bring Johnny to his knees. Holding back the props till the morning he knows. They'll be fishing in the shack, plotting nukes with the pros. Only with crawl, never reload. Underrated them out, amigos. We go with the honest, we seeking the bloods. We know when the fucking cheat code. Party that I'm sweating, they can't be good for my health. Some might call it making bets, I call it investing in myself. I'm picking props like stocks, population for the win. Got my sips in by the buzzer now, let the games begin. It's population. It's population. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's cash.
All right, what is up, guys? It's good to be back. Yeah, took vacation last week. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, and yeah, it's good to be back with you guys. And Eric, how was your Thanksgiving? Was it good?
Yeah, man, it was pretty good. Thankfully, the weather held up last week. Today, not so much. It snowed about almost 2 inches. It's like 32, 33 outside right now.
Sounds like a typical Colorado fall so far, early winter.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, we got a 3-game slate, so we can get this done quickly. I think we have some pending injury news in the first game we're still waiting on. Hopefully we get that during the stream, so let us know if we do for the Pistons. But I just want to give a shout out to one of our key mods and content contributor, DZ. He just crushes soccer, and he gave a lot of people in our community Discord community these soccer plays, and they all just crushed. As you see here, these were some of his favorite, along with the soccer taco, and we paired it with some NBA props here and there. But yeah, nice work, DZ. I don't know if he's here, but yeah, he just crushes soccer. Did you get any action on the soccer props?
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of soccer, mostly just doing 2 picks, but it's been surprisingly not bad.
Yeah, we have some pretty sharp people for the soccer stuff. So if you're interested, you're not part of the group yet, definitely join, and you can get in on the World Cup props that we have going in our soccer channel. But yeah, DZ, he's a beast with the soccer. So good work. Okay, well, let's let people trickle in, and let's dive right into the first game, which starts in about 2.5 hours. And this one probably has the most pending news out of all the games. I think all the other games are pretty set in terms of lineups and injury news. So the big news is for the home team, the Pistons, Ivy and Bojan both missed last game due to knee soreness, they called it. So it's kind of unclear. Is that kind of just like a maintenance thing and just give him some rest? I mean, I think Ivy missed the last 2 and Bojan just missed the last 1. So really unclear on that. But Isaiah Stewart, big news is he's back. He was dealing with an injury. He went down to the G League to kind of get conditioned. So he should be somewhat conditioned coming back because he has missed extended time. But the G League minutes might have helped. So yeah, that's going to change up the lineup if Ivy and Bojan actually do play. So we'll get to that when we get to Detroit on possible lineups there. But let's start with the Knicks, the visiting team. Man, we always joke about this matchup between the Knicks and Pistons, and feel like it's Groundhog Day every time we go over it. But it's a favorable matchup for the Knicks. Detroit continues to be one of the worst defenses in every category. Interior, on the perimeter. So very favorable spots here. And then can't go without mentioning that it's Julius Randle's birthday today. It turned 28. So you got a birthday game thrown in there. And you have some revenge narratives in this game as well. Burks played for the Knicks for a few years, and he's been very productive for Detroit, especially if Ivy and Bojan are out. But yeah, what is our early lean on the Knicks? I will say it's a somewhat decent total at 226, and spread's only 4.5, and I imagine that spread might change if Bojan and Ivy are both declared active. But I think the biggest thing for me is trying to figure out this front court for the Knicks. We've seen Sims come in and out of the lineup. Last game he was just a DNP, didn't play at all. But then yeah, Mitch Robb played decent minutes last game, but that was against a big front court in Memphis. And yeah, I mean, he's splitting minutes with Hartenstein and then Sims when he plays. So I think, it's a great spot for Mitch. The concern is minutes, obviously, with Hartenstein and Sims in the back waiting, and then also foul trouble because the Knicks are third in shooting fouls, allowing the third most free throw attempts. And Scott Foster is the head crew chief in that game tonight, and he continues to be top 3 in most fouls called per game when he's a crew chief. So something to keep in mind. Mitch is always in risk of foul trouble, but huge block upside here against guys like Bagley in the interior and other driving guards like Diallo and others and Bay. So besides Julius the birthday boy, let's start with Mitch Robb and then work our way to Julius in the backcourt. What's your early leans on the Knicks so far?
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how I feel about Mitch Robb today. He is stepping back into his kind of normal minutes, normal production. So I think it is a spot we could go back to because this is going to be a fairly weak, front court from Detroit here. Really, the only notable person they have on the other side is going to be Bagley, and I don't know, man. As you mentioned with the foul trouble, that's definitely going to be something that's really going to be in the back of my mind tonight because I'm not the biggest fan of the Knicks on the road, just to be totally honest, birthday boy or not. But I think one player we have to really just keep considering is got to be Jalen Brunson. He's been a consistent player for this team. He's dishing the ball out a ton. He's still taking a hefty volume of shots per game. And when the team does fall behind, we have seen, especially in the fourth quarter, he will take all the shots on the team. The team will set him up solely to take all the shots. Randall, even himself, he takes a huge backseat. And it's kind of a risk, I think, with Randall. If he's not really doing his thing in the first half, you're really going to be hoping he gets it in the third, or falling into some production late. So I don't have any strong feeling about him today, but I think Brunson, either points or PA, is definitely in the consideration. He's consistent and I like his play style.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great spot for him. Totally agree. And his PA, him and Halliburton, I feel like have been the most consistent starters to really crush their PA and make sense to go with that prop. And then obviously other guys like Clarkson when certain guys are out, like Conley. But just consistent starters, yeah, their PA has always been favorable. It is juiced though at 29.5. I mean, I think it's usually been around ranging anywhere from 26.5 to 27.5. So it's
Yeah.
it's definitely juiced because I imagine a matchup, but also just recent production. But yeah, I mean, these two teams have played recently, 2 weeks ago, and 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Brunson had, I think, well over 30 PA in that matchup. So totally get it. So are you staying away from the birthday boy completely? From all his props, are you considering his RA that you tend to like for him or his first half points?
My biggest thing about it right now is just Prize Picks is on one today, and they're pre-taxing all of the potential higher variance props like the PA, RA, all that stuff. Like literally everything on the board is taxed today, I think, except for like just a few outliers. So they're kind of making us take a stand on what direction we really want to go today. Like with Brunson, I feel pretty good about his points just because of the 2 games that he played this year. You mentioned he had a really strong PA. I think he had 23 or 24 points against him that game, and the first game he had like 18 or 19 points, so it was just under the bar. But it was also well early in the season, so they were still kind of developing. This might be a situation we could see maybe some lines are pre-bumped, that a couple of other lines are going to get bumped closer to locks, and some of these props will kind of even out. But it's a smaller slate, and they really kind of opened it up. So we got a lot of bench pieces today. I don't think we have to go too crazy with one game or the other, but maybe just build some good game scripts for if you think something's going to blow out, then we could take some of these other bench pieces. But oh man, this is gonna be a tough one because they definitely were ready for a smaller slate. So I don't have any strong feelings about this game, just to be totally honest.
I don't blame you. Whenever the Knicks are involved, I'm the same way. That's why I like to go to our true diehard Knicks fans out there that are in our Discord community, because they have somewhat of a better pulse on it. But yeah, like guys like RJ Barrett is so inconsistent up and down. I mean, he could easily crush his PRA, or he could just shoot 1 of 9 from 3 like he's done as of late. Yeah, so I'm probably staying away from him. Mitch Robb, I might have slight consideration due to the upside here. It's such a good block upside and fantasy upside for him. Pistons are allowing the 3rd most blocks. And now that Bagley is playing, he works mainly within 10 feet of the basket, inside paint game. So increased block potential for Mitch, but also increased foul potential too. Mitch did foul out 2 games ago, by the way. But when he keeps his hands to himself, I mean, he's super productive. He played over 30 minutes against Memphis, stayed out of foul trouble. So it's definitely there. There's just I would say high upside, high risk, high reward for him. But yeah, I'm with you on Brunson. I also don't mind his just straight up assist here, because he could get a lot of people involved. And then quickly, is there any update on him?
I don't think there's anything new yet.
So did he get injured in that last game against Memphis, and that's why he did not check back in, I imagine? I think so, right?
Believe so. Back to the injury news. Yeah, he won't return. So he got injured on Sunday, and still today at 2:50 he has a Q tag.
Yeah, so that's even more of a boost to Brunson's just overall points and assists too, because Quickly would play alongside him at times too and eat into that. So yeah, everything looks good for Brunson. Unless Julius, the birthday boy, just goes complete black hole and dominates the usage. We'll see. But yeah, great spot for the Knicks overall. Don't have much Detroit props because we're still waiting on that news. Bojan and Ivy are both questionable. And was there anyone else? Let's see. Oh yeah, Bogdan. He's nearing return, but I don't think he's playing today. Cade remains out. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I will say what's available, what's out to be is Sadiq at 3.5 rebounds. I like. However, if Bojan and Ivy play, then there's potential that Sadiq goes to the bench, which we've seen when Bagley and Stewart play alongside each other. Sadiq goes to the bench and plays with the second unit, and Bojan and Ivy start with Bagley and Stewart, and Killian run at point. So there is that possibility, and that could hurt some of Sadiq's props here. But I still think even if he plays off the bench, he still should play solid minutes. But you definitely want him to play like 30 to 35 minutes here for his props. But 3.5 rebounds, I like if if Bojan and Ivy are out again. And then what are your thoughts on Bagley? He's dealing with migraines apparently, and which made him questionable last night to play. But apparently he's listed available to play. But with migraines, with how they are and they come and go, and we don't know how severe, and if he's still dealing with them, it could easily flare up during the game, before the game. He could play less minutes. We don't know. And then we don't know how many minutes Stewart's going to play in his first game back. So we need a kind of somewhat of a minute news idea. So maybe it's a risk, but you could maybe consider his under on his points or PRA. If he's dealing with a migraine and then playing alongside Isaiah Stewart, who definitely will eat into his rebound and scoring potential. What are your thoughts on what's available for Detroit?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see and kind of wait around for that news. As you mentioned with Bagley, I would like for him, or sorry, with Bay, I would like for him to be starting for that rebound prop,
Mm-hmm.
but it is something he could fall into. The only thing that I worry about is with that second unit with the Knicks, like what's they've been all over the place with shooting. Some games we've seen that they've really loaded up on the 3 points. And then in a couple of these games now we've seen where they've kind of started attacking the basket more. So I think honestly with Stewart being back, it's going to gum up that front court quite a bit. I actually forgot that he was back today, or it's probable for this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So we could see, a pretty stagnant front court on both sides of the game here, with Mitch Robb and Randall on one side, and we got, Bagley and probably Stewart on the other side. So it could be a really just rebound heavy, hopefully not a foul out situation, but
Yeah, it's setting up for
um,
that.
yeah, I could see probably one of the bigs on each side having a really solid rebounding night, and then maybe I get the feeling that the coaches will probably go a little bit more small and let them play like one big on one big, whether they have just Randall or Mitch Robb out there by himself, and then they go a bit smaller, because that seems to be something that Detroit's been kind of doing. Like they'll go really small for the second unit. So I'm curious with Stewart back now if they're going to continue to do that, or if they just change up things a little bit here. But I really think that Bogdan and Ivy is the biggest thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's news we need to wait on and kind of build around and go from there.
Yeah, for sure. The problem, if Sadiq plays off the bench, he's gonna play alongside Diallo, who's a rebound
Magnet.
hog. Yeah. He hogs the rebounds with the second unit. And then I imagine the rookie Jalen Duren will continue to play some maybe 15 minutes off the bench at center spot. So, and yeah, that's the only thing he's about good for is rebounding. It'll really hurt Sadiq. I agree with his rebound potential if he's playing off the bench here. So yeah, I think it's just wait and see on that news. That's really the only wait and see we have so far on this slate. So with that, let's see if anyone's got any questions on this one. Hey, what up, Jermaine and Corey? Underrated. What's up, dude? Sean said just need Winslow to have 4 assists for 25x. Yeah, DZ came through big. Love it, man. Tito, what up, Tito? Money time. Everyday fantasy, what it do, gents? What up, every day? Prince Jeremiah, hey, what up, man? Randall going off tonight. Hey, it's his birthday, man. If you're into the birthday narrative, Randall points their first half.
He's been getting 10 exactly the last 2 games.
I know, but maybe if you think he's a little bit extra aggressive here, but I think it also depends on Bojan and Ivy news. If Bojan and Ivy are out, maybe the spread goes up a little bit more in favor of the Knicks, but the Knicks, they don't really blow anyone out, and the Pistons can hold their own with Burks out, really being productive offensively. So I don't know. I would just say you're getting taxed on the first half. Just ride the full game if you like Randall. Could even pair it with Brunson's 6 assists too, if you want to ride that birthday narrative. It's a great spot for him. I mean, what he finished last game against Detroit, he finished with 22 points, right over it or something like that. So yeah, I'm on the fence about him. Julius, he's hard to predict. People either love or hate him for sure.
If he wasn't on the road, man, I would like him quite a bit today. But this team is just, they can go so hard on the road. It's insane.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not a far travel for him. All right, let's move to the next one. We got good old Warriors at Mavs. Man, Warriors on a little win streak here. They really needed it. They went through a slump on that road trip they had earlier this season. But yeah, I think they're on a 3-game winning streak, but they played really easy defenses. They played the T-Wolves, who might be the worst defense in the league right now. We just saw them get dismantled by both the Warriors and the Wizards yesterday. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. I know people are thinking, "Oh, Warriors are getting back on track," but they beat a really just. I mean, I don't even know what's going on with T-Wolves. I mean, Cat is shut down for what 4 to 6 weeks now. Yeah, they're in a disarray. But and then prior to that, they beat the Jazz, 2 really easy defenses, and then they beat the Clippers, who rested everyone. And then prior to that, they lost to the Pelicans when they benched when the Warriors benched all their starters, and then they beat the Rockets. So, I mean, yeah, they could be getting back on track. Draymond's been holding team meetings, trying to be a leader for the second unit, and these young guys get them going, like Kuminga and other guys running the second unit.
Yep. Did we lose you? All right, we might have lost Josh for a second.
Am I back?
Yep, there you go.
I don't know why it's losing connectivity. Where did I leave? Oh, yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess long story short, it's as a Warriors fan, I think it's hard to say if they're actually getting back on track or they just had some easy matchups lately. And then Mavs are in the opposite, right? Like they are 1-5 over the last 6 games. They're on a 3-game losing streak. They had a really hard road trip this last 3 games. They were on the road. They played what was it, at Toronto, at Boston, and I forget. Oh, at Milwaukee. All 3 back-to-back road games. So big reason why they're on a losing streak. Now they're coming home. They're playing the Warriors. Revenge game. This is the first time they played the Warriors since the playoff series where the Warriors beat them easily. So there's that. There's the revenge motivation there, and then there's the get right spot coming back home. The Warriors, I just feel like whenever they play the Mavs or the Nuggets in the regular season, they just struggle every season. They just have their number. And yeah, last season the Mavs won the regular season series 3-1 against the Warriors. So beat them both times at Dallas. So it just feels like a get right spot for Dallas for me. I know it's a 1-point spread, but Dallas really defends the 3 ball really well, especially at home. So I think, this could be a letdown spot for the Warriors and a get right for the Mavs. What's your game script theory? I think you just kind of play both. I think it's either Mavs just take it away easily, or it stays close and Warriors squeak it out at the end. What's kind of your game script right now?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this one can stay close because this could definitely turn into a pretty huge shootout. As you mentioned, the history was a little sus for the game actually staying close, but Dallas is back. But also, I got to say, Dallas has played a lot of games lately. Like they've been traveling a whole bunch, and I think they already played 3 games this week. And they just came off of a back-to-back 2 days ago. So this team's definitely seen a lot of time and a lot of play, and some of that's kind of reflected too. And I think the team is Luka. Like there's no debate about that. It's the Dallas Lukas, and they go from there. They run the post through him, and I've been really watching like the breakdown of their offense, and it's kind of crazy, the 80s style basketball that they're playing. Luka just runs up, he sets the post, sticks his butt out, and then he makes a switch, passes it, or he goes for the basket, and he does it over and over. And I think that's one thing that's kind of really cut into Dinwiddie's assist rating, but we'll get to that here in a minute. For Golden State, I still like Draymond's assist at 7. It's been something that Prize Picks is kind of teetering back and forth. They've been giving it, not giving it. We did get Curry's rebounds at 6. I'm a little interested in that just because of how many 3-point shots both sides will attempt, whether or not they're good or not. Dallas, as you mentioned, is pretty tough on threes, but somebody's going to be getting these rebounds. But honestly, I don't mind Dre's assist back at 7. And I think you were on some Clay unders for this one, right?
Yeah, I mean he's actually had a real big bounce back. He needed it. I mean, he went through that slump, but yeah, on the road, very good perimeter, one of the best perimeter 3-point defenses. And yeah, I think if the game goes sideways towards the end, he just loses out on those minutes. But it's Clay. I mean, he's in a chuck, but he is trying to get more involved playmaking and setting up others, and not just being a black hole. So it's always risky with Clay and get hot at any time, but I would never go under him at home just because once he hits like a couple, he can just go nuclear. But it is a tough spot for him.
Yeah, I agree. And he's been kind of struggling to get over that 17, 18 real point marker. I think he had like 15 in one of the first games, and then he just kind of stopped right at the second half. He got 18. I think his prop line was like 18 and a half. So he could get there, but on the road, I actually think it's a pretty good spot for an under for him. Would you go just points or maybe something else?
The only thing with him is like, yeah, if his shot's struggling, he will look to kind of play make and get others involved and try to get it done defensively and on the glass. More so, he gets more aggressive. So it makes me worried that like if he gets more rebounds and assists because his shot's not falling, so it probably just goes straight up points maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean he had a real bounce back spot, like I said, against really easy defenses in Minnesota, Utah, Houston, New York, and then Clippers without their starters. So yeah, it's just a matter of if that 3 ball is falling. Yeah, and I agree with you on Dre. His assists always live, especially if it's less than 7.5 or 8. His potential assists is always around 14 plus. So that rule we like, where our potential assist is twice the assist prop line. So I don't mind it. It's just the only downside is the Warriors run the second fastest pace, but the Mavs, like you talked about with their style, they run the slowest pace. They're dead last in pace. So massive pace down spot for the Warriors, which means little less shots going up for the Warriors than usual. But and then also the perimeter defense of the Mavs, and really reducing 3-point shots and being made and efficiency. So could reduce Dre's assists somewhat, but that's what he's primarily going to do. But he's been picking up the scoring lately. He's been vocal about that. The organization knows this. I heard a stat today on the radio here. It was like when Dre scores at least 8 points or more, they win like over 75% of their games. This is like over 350 game sample size. This is massive sample size. And then when he scores like at least 10 points or more, they well over 80% of the games they win. So they know they have to get him involved offensively. It really, really helps them, and they need that. But it's Draymond, and he could brick everything or just not look to score at all. So I would never put my money on his points, especially in a matchup like this. But maybe he keeps it going. For him, I tend to just stay with his assist or fantasy. So
yeah. Agreed.
There is foul potential here. John Global is the fishing crew, and Warriors have really bad history with him. They're like 1-15 when he's the crew chief. So, and it's at Dallas. There's definitely foul potential here for Draymond and Looney. So just keep that in mind. Speaking of Looney, any interest in Looney props or Poole or Dante?
Looney, maybe. Like his minutes just still worry me, man. Like last game, he was cruising with his rebound prop, and I think he ended up playing like 21 minutes or 22 minutes or something like that. And the game was kind of scripted for them to need him out there and his size, but he just ended up not checking back in really at all in the fourth quarter, or he had like a really small run and then got replaced. So for him, maybe some first half props just because he's so volatile right now. But even that, man, has been kind of a carousel of different characters coming in because we've seen, I wouldn't put it past him with having who is it? Hardaway started last time, right? Are we expecting him to start again for Dallas?
He started because Reggie Bullock sat out due to rest.
That's right. Yeah.
So I imagine that Reggie's back in the starting lineup, and THJ is back to the bench.
Right. Right. I mean, it's not a bad spot. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just say I will say with traditionally against Luca, Steve likes to use Looney a lot to help with help defense, to help Wiggins on Luca. He likes putting Looney out on guys like Luca, and did that in the playoff series too. So he might get some more run because of that, but he also might draw more, get more fouls as a result too. So there's that.
Yeah. And another thing that kind of worries me is with Dallas really getting Christian Wood involved now. Dude, he's been really stepping it up off the bench, and I'm kind of surprised that he's not starting, but I also like the different kind of mix and match that they have with the bench pieces. So any of these games now, we could see him slide over into the starting lineup, and that could be just a whole new look for this offense. But at least for right now, I don't think that they necessarily have to lean on Wiggett or Looney specifically, just because they're going to have likes of like Kleber and Powell out there for the first unit, and then whenever Looney is probably typically going to sub out, that's when Christian Woods is going to come in, and he's probably going to be out there already for 5, 6, 7 minutes now, needing a break. And if you get Woods coming fresh off the bench, he's just going to be attacking you and attacking you. So this could be kind of a risky spot for him. I don't know, man. I don't have honestly a good feeling about Looney at least today.
Yeah, it's hard to predict with him. And he's so foul prone, so I tend to stay away from him. Totally with you. And it's not the best spot. Okay, and what about Wiggins? Probably the most consistent player besides Steph, obviously, for the Warriors. And for him, I always like his fantasy here, because he'll rack up the boards, he'll get stocks and get buckets. So do you have any leans for him? And are you gonna have a lot of exposure, minimal, or what?
I'll have probably, I wouldn't say minimal, just above minimal for Wiggins. I like him. I like him anytime his fantasy's under 30.
Yeah.
And, this is a reasonable spot. And Luka's been turning the ball over a little bit more lately. So if they're going to be playing that kind of tag team defense on him, he could fall into a few stocks here.
Sure. Yeah. And you could always play the volatile block steal prop. But
Yeah.
Wiggs is he's pretty solid for that when he plays his full extended minutes. And then Poole, he's just way too volatile for me. Major regression this season from last season, and after he got that paycheck and that turmoil with Dre. So I'm just going to continue to fade him. And then I will say Dante, Steve Kerr has been vocal about how he is becoming a key piece off the bench like they wanted him to be when they acquired him. They really need him. Like I said, the second unit has really struggled to start the season because they're young, inexperienced, and just not getting it done offensively. And Dante's stepped it up as of late. And Steve said as a result, he should start to earn more minutes throughout the season. But his shooting is also very volatile. I expect him to play 18 to 20 minutes. You could roll the dice on his rebounds, but it's dice. Any leans on him?
Yeah, and that's one of those, his rebound prop is, it looks good. That's the whole reason why Prize Picks has got it up there.
Yeah.
It's not bad. He's been trying a lot more lately, so he's at least trying to earn a spot to or earn a solidified spot on this, unit, whether that's a second or dipping back into the third. Um, his scoring is so I mean, he'll chuck some threes, but he's super frustrating.
He is.
One thing that kind of worries me about him is I would like access to something with his assist potential, and they're not giving that to us. So if we could get maybe like a PRA or a fantasy or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah, I
I would
agree.
like that. But
I agree.
I'd probably lean to probably the rebounds here, just with Woods coming off the bench, and they should have Hardaway and Green as well. There'll be a lot of 3 points going up here on both sides for the second unit.
Yeah. Christian Wood will take some threes, and so that'll be an empty paint there for the guards and forwards for Warriors to gobble up there. So yeah, it's risky though. It's risky. Okay, well let's move to the Mavs. Yeah, Wiggins was at 16.5 points. He got bumped. We got Lucas Taco at 27.5. Obviously, great value there. It's original line's 32.5. Awesome spot for him. Back at home, traditionally torches the Warriors. Does it all. Rebounding, assist, scoring, obviously. So always love his fantasy potential against the Warriors, but it's so juiced at 57.5. But it's Luka. You get it done. But you want a full close game here if you're gonna take a prop like that. So juiced. And yeah, I mean, if I was gonna play a Luka juice prop, full game prop, I would just run it back with Steph because that means the game's going to the end, and both the teams rely on both of them to carry them. So I would just load up on Luka's fantasy and Steph's fantasy if I was gonna do a full game, close game shootout. That's probably what I would do. Otherwise, any props, if let's say it doesn't get that full shootout run and it kind of goes underwhelming, is there any props that you feel like still could be safe for Luka?
Yeah, I still honestly have some interest in his assist prop, man. I think he's probably good for at least a double double now every game with this offense style that they're running.
Yeah,
His and he's really cutting into Dinwiddie's assist too, because that's something, we were really riding there for a while, and he was hitting with great consistency. But now with this kind of slow down, I wouldn't even say new look, but it's something they've been working on over the season, and now it's just like this is their game plan. They run the high post. Luka has the ball in his hands like 90% of the offensive time, and they transition, try to find the open shooter. So with that, I think he's got unlimited potential with his assist, and with him being at home, he's always going to chuck it 22, 24 times, somewhere around that 30 real point marker. They do have his points pretty juiced today. Without the taco, it's 32.5.
yeah,
Usually it's been right around 30, 31 tops. So we're getting pretty taxed on this today.
yeah, yeah.
But points and assists or his did they give us an RA today?
No, but I think it was at 17.5 in the books and maybe 17.5 on Underdog.
Okay. So definitely something I think to look elsewhere for. I mean, he's just filling up the stat sheet like crazy. The rebounds, I don't mind, but I think this he's setting up the offense so much right now. It's kind of hard for him. He's not getting any offensive rebounds usually. That's taking a dip, but there'll be enough threes that he could get there. I just don't have a strong feeling on that today. And if you want a piece of everything, you could just always go this PRA.
Yeah, yeah. And PRA is always solid for Luka, but you're paying a tax, 49.5.
Yeah.
I think it was even juiced to 15.5 on Underdog. Yeah, the assists totally makes sense. Being at home, all those guys around him shoot much better, like Finney Smith. And speaking of him, he played 38 minutes last game, but that's because Reggie was out. Imagine he goes back down to low to mid 30s, 30 to 35 minutes. Do we have any interest in his fantasy or PRA or anything like that? I was kind of looking at his first half fantasy because I think, Christian Wood starting the second half and being now that Christian Wood starting in the second half potentially, that's what he did last game. I don't know if that holds. Maybe that's just because Reggie was out. But if Christian Wood continues to start in the second half, it's more usage for Wood and less for Finney. So the first half, I was kind of eyeing for Finney. It's pretty low at 10.5 fantasy, but you know how first half props are. Um, any leans on him?
No, I actually think that's a pretty sharp call about his first half prop. This last game, he definitely was lucky in some of his production. I think he had 4 offensive rebounds, and of course, I took the under on that. And I think his prop was at 4, and he had exactly 4 offensive rebounds. And I think they ended up stat correcting one of them, and then he picked up like a defensive rebound at the end. But it's going to be interesting with Bullock back because Bullock has just been a complete non-factor in this team. He gets a couple rebounds, takes a couple shots, but he's strictly there for the defense. So I think Dinwiddie or DFS, he's got a little bit of upside and potential, but man, it's so tough because we've seen also when Dinwiddie gets hot, he will take all the shots. Like
Mhm.
it's Luka, and then if Dinwiddie wants to shoot, and then if he doesn't want to, it's DFS and Christian Woods kind of right there neck and neck. So you run a little bit more, I think, of an added layer of risk with going with him, but also, somebody's got to shoot the ball. So that's what he does. His points are fairly low, probably in consideration, but I think that first half call is actually pretty sharp because he's getting a ton of run there.
Cut out again. Sorry about that. I don't know
Are
why
you?
it's cutting in and out. Go ahead though.
Yeah. So some consideration with him. I think that is a super sharp call on his first half fantasy score, just with the minutes that he's playing and with the risk of losing out on some production on the second half with Wood starting. But his full game points, I think, could be still in play because he is a spot up shooter and he'll chuck it from 3.
Yeah. But no, you brought up a great point. It's always a risk playing this secondary pieces of Mavs because of just such how ball dominant and Luka is. And I think that's probably why Prize Picks for once is giving us so many bench players for the first time this season, I feel like. And majority of them are on the Mavs. And I think that says a lot. I think it just shows like they're way more volatile, so they're more willing to put them on the board compared to other teams' bench pieces. So yeah, it's just because of how ball dominant Luka is. So you always keep that in the back of your mind when you're considering any of these secondary Mavs guys, outside of like Dinwiddie or maybe even possibly Wood. So speaking of that, any other interest besides Wood or maybe some Maxey now that he's back? He's missed extended time.
Maxey's kind of interesting. His props are really low, and not only his PRA at 10.5 there, but he's almost strictly a 3-point shooter. So that 5.5 points being right there under 6, that's kind of interesting. I feel like we're going back to the Christian Woods situation though. That's going to be the wild card for this because he doesn't always check in for Maxey, but they don't. He takes away a lot of production when they play alongside together. Like Maxey is strictly a spot up shooter in that situation, and the ball runs through his hands a lot. So I'm gonna have some interest in Christian Woods today. That 1.5 3-point made is pretty interesting because he's been letting it fly a lot lately for Wood.
Oh, for Wood. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised they actually gave that to us, considering they just took away DFS. He had the 1.5.
Yeah. That was heavily juiced for the over, like over minus 200 or something on Pinnacle. I saw. Yeah. You can roll. I mean, you roll the dice on these secondary guys. I mean, their lines are really low for good reason. Because of guys like Luka, right? So, but they're playing at home, and these guys, role players, play much better in Dallas. So. Anything else?
No, honestly, this is it. Take it light today. This is not setting up for the prettiest of slate. I think there's a lot of potential here, but there could also be a lot of letdowns. We've seen a lot of blowouts lately in the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of unknowns in these matchups. So with you on that. Tomorrow looks like a great slate, by the way. But yeah, it's Taco Tuesday, so just take advantage of the tacos, build up some bankroll, and we have a really nice slate tomorrow.
Yeah, and you got 9 minutes on that taco.
Yeah, 9 minutes. Okay, let's move to the next game, last game. And this one is also on TNT, late night hammer. It is the Clippers at Portland. Portland's 3.5-point favorites. Did the total really go down to 211? Wow. It was at 214. That's wow. Okay. Well, I think Vegas thinks an ugly game here because the Clippers are not playing Paul George, Kawhi, John Wall, and Luke Kennard remains out. And then the Blazers remain without Dame. So yeah, this could be a brutal fight that's low scoring, a lot of bricks, or it could be guys trying to earn more minutes and roles on teams. So play more motivation and get up, and could turn into a little mini shootout. No idea. Clippers are so hard to predict, especially with all these guys out. You never know with Ty Lue how he's going to handle rotations. It just seems to be all over the place with minutes.
Waving the flag like 6 minutes early into the man.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, yeah, like Norman Powell, like he seems to play like capped at like 25 to 28 minutes. Even with Kawhi and Paul George out last game, he only played 26 minutes, and he played majority of it in the fourth quarter. He played the entire fourth.
Yeah, all garbage.
Which is really weird. I don't know. Terrence Mann his minutes been most consistent with Kawhi and Paul George out, but yeah, obviously it's a big boost to Reggie with John Wall out and Paul George. So it's back to what we saw with the Clippers last year when it was just a Reggie show. But yeah, I don't know. I still want to see him look like old Reggie of last season. Haven't seen that. Do you have any leans on Reggie and his supporting cast?
No, or I'll say not for Reggie. He's been so frustrating to figure out what he's going to do on a night-to-night basis. I mean, I'll say his first half PRA has been in play and been barely hitting. They've been leaving it right around like 11 and a half. And I haven't actually checked first half props yet today. So yeah, he is 12 and a half. It's right there on the line. Yeah, you saw last game, that disappointment. one PRA, didn't even shoot, just went to the bench and was chilling for the first half.
Wow,
Couldn't
that second quarter stint, he did absolutely nothing but a turnover.
Yeah. So
And that was against Indiana too.
hmm and a lot of folks were on him. I know that. I think the community was feeling pretty good about his points or his PA, and he just did absolutely nothing in the first half. And so I can't go back to him anymore, honestly, with or without these pieces. I think we got to play to the consistency here. It's got to start with Terrence Mann. Prize Picks is still being, I think, a little generous. This dude sucks. This team sucks, but they have to have somebody shoot the ball, and he is, at least in the first half, he's shooting it a ton. The thing that scares me about him is he really falls off in the second half. So if he's not really close to our marker, kind of in that late second quarter, he will make you sweat because he'll start passing. He'll start passing more to Coffee in the second half. That's one thing that I really noticed is he sets up Coffee and Coffee starts shooting. So we've seen this kind of plateau where, they left Coffee's points, I think, like 10 and a half, something like that for today. Pretty low, but he doesn't do anything in the first half. So it's all Terrence Mann, Jackson, and Zubac and Marcus Morris. Really, it's just Zubac and Morris. But this team is really dangerous in the second half. So I think some of these full game props might be a little risky. outside of Terrence Mann, because that's all he does is shoot. And you could go with Zubac, but we've even seen with him some of these first quarter runs, he'll have 2 rebounds, get in foul trouble, check out, or he'll do nothing and just check out.
Yeah, he definitely foul trouble is a concern here with Nurk pounding around in the paint and having such a spike usage with Dame out. So yeah, Zubac could definitely pick up fouls against him.
I knew we kind of mentioned this or theory crafting this morning about some Powell unders. If he's going to be at that minutes cap, his maybe points or PRA is way too juiced for. He's got the potential, but if he's not playing over these minutes, I mean, he's got to be really hyper efficient to do that. And Portland's, they're not bad on defense. I feel like this younger squad that they have out there is not bad on a lot of these guards. And if he's not making these 3-point shots or they're making it tough on him, he's not going to have a good game.
Yeah, he's very streaky, very streaky. He started the season really cold, ice cold, and he kind of got hot as of late. But yeah, it's the minutes. That's the thing. But we just don't know it, Ty. Predicting that, watch he come out and play 32 minutes today because all those guys are out, and then he just decides, oh, Paolo, you're the dude today, and you're gonna play 32 minutes off the bench. So, I mean,
very high. Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, but I agree. I mean, his points are super juiced.
Yeah, if he gets some minutes, he can crush all these lines, but we don't know. We need some kind of heads up for that for me to give the go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we won't from Ty. He keeps it closing it, like doesn't leak any information. So it's a dice roll, but yeah, I just feel like that's how it is with the Clippers all the time. Yeah, I agree with you, man. The minutes seemed to be pretty secure with all those guys out, and yeah, I mean, maybe the first half, like you said, or maybe it's PRA since he's gonna fill the stat line. He's gonna get the rebounds now with all those guys out and play make too from here time to time. So maybe consider that. Any coffee interest or Marcus Morris?
Did they take that coffee turnover away?
They did.
They did. Yeah, I thought that was a real sharp call this morning. Nah, outside of that, this is no interest in coffee.
I don't blame you. I mean, he can have spike games, but he can also just ghost. Okay, well, let's move on to the Blazers. Anything changed since we got on air? Let's take a look.
So Stewart will play.
Any other Detroit news?
A little conflicting. So Bogdan doubtful to play, and then they retweeted Bogdan, Jaden Ivey game time decision.
Okay. I don't trust doubtful anymore with NBA news. We've seen it this season, like guys doubtful starting the night before, and then an hour before tip off, they're gonna play.
Yeah.
Hence the Nuggets. Okay. Well, nothing's changed for the Blazers prop wise, it looks like. Obviously with Dame being out, still Simon's all his props are live, his points, his assists, PA. But yeah, this is gonna be a really slow game. Blazers been running the third slowest pace. Clippers around 20th, and now with Wall out, imagine the pace comes down maybe even a little more so. I mean, Terrence Mann, which he tries to push the pace at times, but yeah, I think that's another reason, not only because starters are out, but also the pace why the total is so low around the 210 range. So that's the only concern. Less shots going up, but Simon's going to still chuck it. And then Grant's playing huge minutes too, 40 minutes here. And he's starting to get his stride back. He kind of went through a slump, but he's been crushing it. But he also had favorable matchups against New York and Brooklyn. What are your early leans on the Blazers? Do you have a favorite? And I know the community kind of got on Winslow's assist, because he's been running point a lot, and Simon's playing off ball at times, and Winslow had like I think 13 or 14 potential assists last game. And the game before that, he had only 8, played 46 minutes, went to overtime against the Knicks, and finished with 4 assists. When I saw that, it kind of made me nervous. Like, okay, you're gonna play 46 minutes, you're only gonna get 4 assists. Yeah, you had 8 potential, but it's just a range outcome you got to think about, because that's kind of crazy. You play that many minutes and with overtime. But yeah, him and Grant have been running the pick and roll really good together. But yeah, majority of his assists have been going to Grant. But yeah, what's your lean on the Blazers?
Yeah, I don't mind really the Winslow assist call. I think for me, I'm kind of gonna hedge and have an even share between his 3.5 assists and, as you mentioned, the vice versa. He runs a pick and roll with Hart or with Grant. So Grant's 2.5 assists is pretty low. Like, this team is very interesting with their assist distribution
Yeah,
whenever Dame is out. Like,
yeah.
everybody just takes a huge step forward. And we've
Even
even seen,
Nurk.
yeah, I was just about to say, even with Nurk, like, he's been averaging about 4 to 5 actual assists, and his potential assists like skyrocket.
Yeah, 10
Um,
plus. Yeah,
yeah. So that's sorry. More news coming in, not for today, for tomorrow. Um, but I think some exposure between the two of them. Simons has been a little bit more volatile with like just the straight up dishing than we've kind of seen when Dame has been out earlier this year. So that kind of worries me a little bit, and some of that honestly could be with Winslow now
yeah,
playing point and doing
yeah.
that. So that
Yeah,
could be,
he's playing off ball like 2 guard a lot.
yeah.
Back
And
to
we've,
back to like how he was with when Dame was on the court.
yep, exactly. So you know, Simons, I really don't have a good feeling or don't have a strong lean for any of his props one way or another. He's a little juiced right now. His points probably always potentially live, and make that for what it is. But anytime Dame's out, Nurk immediately. His points always got to be first consideration.
Sure.
He was at 14.5 this last game. He's been making us sweat a little bit, but as you can see, he's been clearing that. So a lot of that's come to some early foul trouble, and then early he's dishing it out a lot and just worrying more about rebounding and setting up the teammates. And we've kind of seen that, Grant's been really hot in the first half lately. So if Nurk's not having to shoot the ball or attack the paint a lot, he's not going to. But these games have stayed pretty close down to the wire, and I don't feel like either of these teams are going to blow anybody out.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think Zubac can hang with Nurk, and Nurk's looked really good these last couple games. So I think he's back to his full season stretch here, and pretty comfortable going back to his either points, or I think PRA is still on the table.
Yeah. Did we get a point assist for him? Oh, he did. It's intriguing. So basically saying he's going to get four assists here
It's
if he hooks
interesting.
at 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, just the straight up points. I'm with you on that. And kind of sets up nice for him too in a slow paced game, half court offense. So, are you staying away from Hart?
This guy. I think his points are just like the biggest thing on him. If he's scoring, he'll crush everything. If you take any kind of like PRA, PA, whatever. But if he is not shooting, this guy will burn you so bad. I wish we got an RA prop or something that we could just get some of his peripheral stuff. But if he's not shooting, he's gonna wreck your props. So I can't tout for that.
I don't blame you. They have an interesting underdog rivals between Winslow and Hart's points. Pretty much dead even when you have to choose between the two. That's I feel like it's impossible because both of them really don't look to shoot. They look to set up others when they're on offense and play make. So yeah, and rebound. Okay. So Grant, our favorite would probably be his points and assist, separate lines, and then Nurk his points and Winslow's assist, and then Simons were lukewarm on, but yeah, with Dame out, it's always alive. He can get hot from 3. So I probably lean his points or his PA.
Yeah, there's plenty of pieces here that I think you could find a nice 2 stack to build in the card with, like with person A's assist and then, points rebounds or points whatever.
Yeah, and if you're feeling lucky, you can go under on his turnover. If Winslow continues to ball handle more and he Simons continues to play the traditional 2 guard more. So Clippers not really forcing any turnovers, bottom of the league, especially with Kawhi and Paul George and those guys out. You can see last 2 games with Winslow playing huge minutes. His turnovers are way down, and that New York game was an overtime game. He played 45 plus minutes, so only hit him with turnover, but it's volatile. He can make some simple errors that will get him over that, but just throw that out there. One little interesting small slate prop there. Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's gonna be about it.
And we don't have. I was hoping we get the Detroit news before we got off air, but it sounds like we're not going to get it, right?
Yeah, and so those other
The other Bogdan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like if they're true game time decision, yeah, we're not going to get that news. Probably an hour, 45 minutes to an hour before lock. So probably the next, less than an hour, 30 minutes to an hour from now. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll update stuff. That news is, I feel like, going to be key for such a small slate. So we really need that before we really core things. But as the way it stands right now, do we have a favorite play? Favorite 2 plays maybe we can give the people?
Yeah, let me go back. I'll still tout for Nurk, his real points. I think it's solid. He's probably going to continue to get 17, 18.
Okay. All right, and let's just we can't. I was saying we could pair it with Winslow, but we can't have the same guys on the same team. But what else did like on here? See, a lot of this is dependent on Detroit news, because I would say Sadiq's rebounds if I knew Bojan and or Ivy were out. But
You want to go with the man prop?
oh man, the Clippers scare me. I mean, I'm with you on man. I mean, if he keeps playing 36, 38 minutes, definitely live. Let's just go.
What you got from the Golden State game? I know something's
Yeah,
back from
let's go with Wood.
What? Okay.
It's juice from where it opened at 16.5, but still like it. Great spot for him, but it's Christian Wood. Sometimes he just mentally checks out, so gotta keep that in mind. And then if you want the birthday narrative, go with go good old Julius first half. Comes out hyped. There you go.
I like it.
And then throwing you like Brunson's, throw that in there. Some leans, early leans while we wait on that news. But yeah, the news is really gonna change things up. So
yeah. Or Draymond assists, that's I know everyone's gonna be interested in.
Hopefully he stays out of foul trouble. Okay. Why can't I get this all captured? Okay. Cool. I'm gonna be in Discord for lock with you guys, and let's get that news. Definitely notify us, add us if someone gets the news before we see it. That'd definitely help. Any questions? Grant is next. Taco 17 points. Thanks every day.
It's good, I think.
Yeah. Nice. Wait. Oh, it's not posted yet. Okay. Yeah. That I don't mind pairing that with Winslow's assists now. Because like I said, majority of his assists are going to Grant. Nice little correlation there. Don't go too heavy on any of the Blazers assist props though, because like you brought up a really good point, is that since Dame has been out, it's been fluctuating between all of them, just ball rotation, and yeah, some of them have spike assist games, and just because the guys hit their shots from them, so just be careful with Portland assist props.
Yeah, there's no true one guy anymore.
Right. Oh, okay, that's cool. They took down Simon's turnover prop.
What?
Yeah.
Man, and we don't even get free throw props today. Like, come on.
We might. You never know. Wow. So they took. So I talked about Coffee's turnovers. That's gone. And then now I just talked about Simon's turnovers, and that's gone. Wonder why they do that. Were people really smashing under on that? I don't know.
They just needed the stream to confirm it.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. Thursday is Thursday one game?
No way. Is it really? Really? Detroit and Dallas? Ugh. But something's got to be going on that day. Is there a holiday or?
I think this Wednesday's a massive slate, and then Friday too, right?
Yeah. Oh, so they keep doing this. Like we have a big slate, and then it's like the either nothing or the smallest possible, and then like everyone's right to a back-to-back almost.
Well, we could do a fun little stream and throw in maybe some NFL stuff because it'll be an NFL game. We'll definitely need NFL props to throw in to increase our pool. Yeah, so I'm down to stream then if you are, and then I imagine Friday's another big slate. Yeah, Wednesday and Friday it's gonna be hard. So yeah, we'll just plan to come back Thursday then if that works for you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Friday's massive. Okay.
Yeah, Friday's gonna be interesting. Definitely down for Thursday. Like you said, we could get some NFL plays in there. Shout out to your boy Underrated. He's been killing it in the tackle and sacks prop or tackle and assist props.
Yeah, and then maybe some college basketball if you come across some and get some from the others in the community for Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Check out with Cade, see if he's around maybe.
Yeah. Let's do that. Definitely Thursday's definitely a mix and match day for sure. All right, guys. I'll be in Discord. I'll catch you there, Eric.
Yep. And if you guys interested, Discord links down below. Make sure to check it out. We've been doing pretty well. Had a good weekend. Yeah, a little back and forth yesterday, but looking for a good Taco Tuesday.
Oh yeah. Let's get it. All right, fam.
Peace.
Puts up a tough shot. Bounces around. Goes in at the buzzer. Working it down to 2 on a deep three. Oh!
It's population.
That's how you win a game.
It's population. We hustle every day to find picks. You can tell us if you want to get rich. It's population. We robbing underdog and prize picks. We the best in this biz. You ain't telling us shit. It's population. We love making money quick, fast. Cooking up a team card. The whole crew about to smash. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's catch. The dopest team you ever seen. Winning money, stacking G's. Boogie setting traps, but they'll never catch me. Some people get addicted like raps to the cheese, but I got one obligation to bring Johnny to his knees. Holding back the props till the morning he knows. They'll be fishing in the shack, plotting nukes with the pros. Only with crowd, never reload. Underrated to my amigos. We go with honest, we seeking the bloods. We know when a fucking cheat code. Party that I'm sweating, they can't be good for my health. Some may call it making bets, I call it investing in myself. I'm picking props like stocks, population for the win. Got my sips in by the buzzer now, let the games begin. It's population. It's population.